the background singer started singing. The background singer started singing, and that brought her back. They're having to rewind the teleprompters because my mom is forgetting to even look at them.
Gladys Knight is a legend in her own lane. But lately, there's been some news about her that has everyone paying close attention. Her journey hasn't really been smooth, from facing a terrible rape situation at a young age.
Sometimes they don't want to know certain things about us. And that's why it wasn't a deep, dark secret, but that's why I didn't bring my pain to you. It makes me happy to make you happy with my music or my life.
To finding herself in one rocky relationship after another.
So even with the 3 failed marriages, the 3 failed relationships that I've had in my life, I've grown so much in the spirit. I would never at this point say, oh, no, I'm through with guys. No, I don't want that. I ain't gonna be married no more. It just don't work for me.
And the wildest part of everything is people suggesting that she might actually be losing it. There's more to reveal. Let's dive in. Gladys Knight was born on May 28, 1944, in Atlanta, Georgia. Her mom, Sarah, worked as a nurse's aide, and her dad, Merrill Sr., was a postal worker. They were both active in their church choir, so music was already a big part of the family. Gladys grew up with her sister Brenda and her 2 brothers, Bubba and David. She was raised Baptist and started singing gospel at just 4 years old at Mount Moriah Baptist Church. By 8, she had already won a TV talent show called The Original Amateur Hour by singing Nat King Cole's Too Young.
When I got to go to Ted Mack, Original Amateur Hour, that was a different arena. I was the only African American on the show.
Not long after, Gladys, her brother Bubba, her sister Brenda, and 2 of their cousins performed together at Bubba's 10th birthday party because the record player broke. Everyone loved how they sounded, and with her mother's encouragement, they decided to form a group.
How would I know I'm supposed to sing at 4? I had no vision, but my mom and dad did, okay?
They eventually called themselves the Pips, named after their cousin and manager, James Pip Woods.
And we borrowed the name from another cousin who was our manager in the beginning. And his name was James Woods. Just getting it to you, James. and everybody called him Pip.
The Pips started performing everywhere, in church, at talent shows, and even in clubs, opening for big artists. They signed with Brunswick Records in 1957 and began releasing songs. But even though things looked good on the outside, Gladys was dealing with a lot behind the scenes. At just 15, she survived an attempted rape at home. It was painful, but she didn't let it destroy her. By the time she was 16, the group released their first album, and Gladys had recorded her first hit, Every Beat of My Heart. Around the same time, she got pregnant and decided to marry her boyfriend, James Newman. Sadly, she miscarried while on tour, and it took a toll on her and the group.
I was getting ready to go to work, and it wasn't like they could go and work without my going.
Later, Gladys and James had 2 children, their son Jimmy, born in 1962, and their daughter Kenya, born in 1963. In the early 60s, the whole family and the Pips moved to Detroit. They stayed in a nice neighborhood called Sherwood Forest. Gladys took a break from touring to raise her kids while the Pips continued performing. She eventually rejoined them, with her husband working as their musical director. But James struggled with drug addiction and left the family when Gladys was just 20. In 1966, Gladys Knight and the Pips signed with Motown Records. At first, Motown didn't see them as a top group, but they quickly proved themselves with a string of hits like I Heard It Through the Grapevine, The Nitty Gritty, Friendship Train, If I Were Your Woman, and the Grammy-winning Neither One of Us. In their early Motown years, they toured as the opening act for Diana Ross and the Supremes. Gladys later shared that Diana Ross removed them from the tour because the crowd loved Gladys's performance so much that it overshadowed her. Berry Gordy, Motown's founder, later confirmed it, telling Gladys that she was giving his main act some serious competition. By 1973, Gladys Knight and the Pips felt like they had outgrown Motown. They wanted a better deal and more control over their music, so they left and signed with Buddha Records. That move turned out to be one of the best decisions they ever made. Their success exploded almost immediately. That same year, they dropped some of their biggest hits ever. Songs like Midnight Train to Georgia, which hit #1 on both the pop and R&B charts and even won a Grammy. They also released I've Got to Use My Imagination, The Way We Were, Try to Remember, and Best Thing That Ever Happened to Me. Everything they touched was turning into a hit. But while Gladys's career was going up, her personal life wasn't as bright. Her marriage to James Newman had been falling apart for years. Even though they stayed married for more than 12 years, the relationship had completely broken down. They finally divorced in 1973.
It was just those kinds of things. He never had that confidence in himself that he should have had with all the brilliant. He was a brilliant musician, but he could not see it. And he didn't have that inner strength to tell himself, I'm okay.
In the summer of 1974, Gladys and the Pips worked with Curtis Mayfield to record the soundtrack for the movie Claudine. It included songs like On and On, The Makings of You, and Make Yours a Happy Home. The music was soulful, smooth, and became loved by many fans.
So let us make yours a happy, happy home. Make yours a happy home.
Around this time, the group also became very popular in Europe, especially in the UK. Interestingly, some of the songs they released years earlier in the US suddenly became hits in the UK much later. Their music had that timeless quality. During this period, Gladys also moved on romantically. She married Barry Hankerson, who later became known as the founder of Blackground Records. They had a son together, Shanga Ali Hankerson, born on August 1st, 1976.
Moving swiftly forward in time, you married again.
Yes, I did.
The most beautiful result, perhaps, of that marriage was
My son,
Shanga.
Yes.
Around 1977, the family moved to Las Vegas. But even with the move, Gladys didn't slow down. She kept performing and recording with the Pips. Still, things were beginning to change. By the late 1970s, legal issues forced Gladys and the Pips to record separately. This led to Gladys releasing her first solo albums, Miss Gladys Knight in 1978 under Buddha Records, and Gladys Knight in 1979 under Columbia Records.
It's like the Pips left Motown and went to Buddha Records. They really got the kind of superstar treatment that had been missing, or they felt had been missing at Motown.
But her personal life was getting even more difficult. Her marriage to Barry fell apart, leading to a long and painful custody battle over their son. Things got so bad that Gladys spent over $1 million trying to find her son after he was kidnapped. That alone was overwhelming, but she was also fighting another battle privately. Gladys had become addicted to gambling. That habit lasted more than 10 years. She would spend long hours at casinos, sometimes winning big, sometimes losing thousands of dollars in one night. In an interview, she explained how she slipped into the habit almost without realizing it.
And when I got involved in my gambling, even though I wasn't hiding it, the casino is a very public thing, but when I talked about that, that seemed to be something that people couldn't relate to as far as being a part of my life, a shortcoming in my life.
The turning point came one morning when she realized she had stayed out all night gambling and had lost $60,000. Even worse, she suddenly remembered she should have been getting her son ready for school at that very moment. That was her wake-up call. She decided enough was enough. Gladys joined Gamblers Anonymous, and the support helped her break the addiction. But interestingly, even during those years of struggle, she never stopped working. Her music career stayed strong. In 1980, Johnny Mathis invited her to record 2 duets, When a Child is Born and The Lord's Prayer. Later that same year, Gladys Knight and the Pips signed with Columbia Records. With the group back in full form, they released new music, working with legendary Motown producers Nicholas Ashford and Valerie Simpson. Their first 2 albums with Columbia, About Love in 1980 and Touch in 1981, gave them songs like Landlord. Then came another hit in 1983, Save the Overtime for Me. The song had that smooth boogie-style R&B sound and even included early elements of hip-hop in its music video. It became their first #1 R&B hit since 1974. The album Visions also produced another R&B success with You're #1, In My Book. By 1987, Gladys felt it was time to start her solo journey. She and the Pips released their final album together, All Our Love. Its lead single, Love Overboard, became a #1 R&B hit and even won them another Grammy. After a successful 1988 tour, the Pips retired, and Gladys stepped into her solo career full-time.
After 39 years or 37 years, however many it had been at that time, not to look around and be able to see those guys on my right or my left was just a nerve-wracking experience.
Even before going solo, she had already made a huge mark. In 1985, she joined Dionne Warwick, Stevie Wonder, and Elton John on the famous AIDS charity single, That's What Friends Are For. The song went to #1 and won a Grammy for Best Pop Performance by a duo or group.
Keep smiling, keep shining.
Through all the highs and lows, Gladys Knight kept pushing forward. In 1986, Gladys Knight shared the stage with Dionne Warwick and Patti LaBelle for an HBO special called Sisters in the Name of Love. She didn't just perform, she also co-executive produced the show. It did really well and earned her 3 ACE Awards, plus 2 more nominations the following year. On March 27, 1988, she sang America the Beautiful at WrestleMania 4 in Atlantic City. A year later, in 1989, she recorded License to Kill, the theme song for the James Bond movie. The song became a top 10 hit in the UK and Germany. In 1991, Gladys released what became her most successful solo album, Good Woman. It hit #1 on the R&B album chart and included the hit song Men, which went up to #2 on the R&B chart. The album reached #45 on the main Billboard chart. It was her highest position ever. It also featured Superwoman, written by Babyface and sung with Dionne Warwick and Patti LaBelle. That track got a Grammy nomination too. She also teamed up with Patti LaBelle again that year for the song I Don't Do Duets. And in 1991, she sang the national anthem at Game 1 of the World Series. Her 4th solo album, Just For You, came out later and went gold. It was also nominated for a Grammy in 1995. Around this time, she started a relationship with motivational speaker Les Brown.
We just had a synergy. So when I was leaving, she said, "Hey, Les Brown." I said, "Yes." She said, "Here's my number. You won't have to go through a publicist next time." And I looked at her and I heard.
We'll be back with more after these words.
They eventually got married. But things didn't work out, and they divorced in 1997. Baptism and the 2010s. Spiritually, Gladys made some big changes too. She was raised Baptist, then became Catholic, but in 1997, she was baptized into the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. She said her children, who had already joined the church, inspired her decision. In 2000, her 5th solo album, At Last, won her first solo Grammy for Best Traditional R&B Album. And even though her love life had been rocky, she didn't give up. In 2001, Gladys married William McDowell. From that point on, things became more stable for her. Gladys also created and leads a Mormon-themed choir called Saints Unified Voices. The choir released a Grammy-winning album titled One Voice and sometimes performs at church events.
With time to spare, time.
In April 2004, she performed at Divas Live 2004 alongside Ashanti, Cyndi Lauper, Jessica Simpson, Joss Stone, Debbie Harry, and Patti LaBelle. The concert supported VH1's Save the Music Foundation. She also recorded You Were There with Ray Charles for his 2005 duets album, Genius and Friends. In 2008, she performed with Chaka Khan, Patti LaBelle, and Diana Ross at the Divas with Heart concert in New York to raise money for heart research. That same year, she appeared on American Idol with Jack Black, Robert Downey Jr., and Ben Stiller to raise money for charity. In 2009, Gladys sang His Eye is on the Sparrow and The Lord's Prayer at Michael Jackson's funeral. By 2011, she released a new version of the classic song, I Who Have Nothing. And in 2013, she recorded You and I Ain't Nothin' No More, written and produced by Lenny Kravitz for the movie The Butler. In 2014, her album, Where My Heart Belongs, became her 30th Top 40 R and B album. That same year, she spoke out about how sad she felt that so many women in music were being pressured to sell sex instead of talent. She said her mother taught her to put it on, not take it off. VH1 later ranked her number 18 on their list of the 100 greatest women of rock. But 2016 brought a different kind of challenge. Gladys's son, Shenga Hankerson, who owned Gladys Knight's Chicken and Waffles, was accused of tax evasion and theft. Authorities said he owed over $1 million in taxes and interest. Gladys wasn't involved in the business. She just allowed him to use her name. But the situation still affected her. She sued him and his companies, asking the court to remove her name from the restaurants.
Gladys Knight's decision to sue her son over the restaurant bearing her name could meet some obstacles in court.
Shenga pushed back and even threatened to reveal that she had Alzheimer's, which Gladys firmly denied. In 2019, she sang the national anthem at Super Bowl 53. Some people criticized her for accepting the invitation because of the NFL's alleged blacklisting of Colin Kaepernick. Gladys said she understood why Kaepernick protested, but she disagreed with him kneeling during the anthem. She kept on pushing silently, but also reminding fans of her presence. By 2025, fans were excited again as Gladys prepared for her new Gladys Knight Tour 2025. But just before one of the shows, she fell ill and had to update her fans about her health. She was supposed to perform at the Florida Theater on March 8th when she suddenly got sick. Florida Theater President Numa Seiselin explained that the Midnight Train to Georgia legend fell ill very quickly while backstage. Medical staff treated her right there, and then she was taken to the hospital for more care. Even though it was a scary moment, the statement said she was smiling and in good spirits as she left the building. Later, Gladys posted on Instagram to calm her fans. She said she was already feeling much better and explained that she had caught that flu that is going around. She thanked everyone for the kind messages and told them she'd be back soon.
Tonight, Grammy Award-winning singer and Empress of Soul, Gladys Knight, says she's doing well after her show at the Florida Theater was abruptly canceled last night. The singer was taken from the venue by Jacksonville Fire Rescue.
But just when fans thought everything was fine, the situation took a surprising turn. Her son, Shenga, came forward with some serious accusations against Gladys's husband and manager, William McDowell. He claimed that William was mentally and financially abusing her, and that Gladys was being pushed too hard on tour even though she was showing signs of memory problems and confusion. These claims came out in an interview with The Shade Room, where Shenga and his ex-wife Gloria said they were worried about Gladys's health and how much she was working. Shenga described a moment on stage when Gladys seemed completely lost, saying the background singers had to help her and the teleprompter had to be rewound because she forgot to look at it. She zoned out during the show, he said.
The background singer started singing. And that brought her back. They're having to rewind the teleprompters because my mom is forgetting to even look at them.
He also said that during his own 2021 sentencing for the tax charges, Gladys struggled to form clear sentences or thoughts.
When I really noticed it was like right at my sentencing where she came to speak for me.
Gladys quickly responded with her own statement, shutting down the rumors and reassuring everyone that she was okay. "I'm sorry that my health and performances have been misrepresented," she said. "I want my fans and those concerned to rest assured I am doing very well for someone who has been on stage for 3/4 of a century. Hard to believe, right?" She added that she had been spending time with her loved ones and was excited to get back on stage as soon as possible. Still, some fans have noticed moments in recent performances where she seemed to forget lyrics or rely heavily on the teleprompter. These moments have sparked debates about whether she should still be touring at her age. To add to that, Gladys and her said husband, William, have been married since 2001. Together, they have a huge blended family, 17 grandchildren and 10 great-grandchildren. They live in Fairview, North Carolina, near the community center they own, which used to be Reynolds High School, where McDowell once studied. Over the years, Gladys Knight has gotten a lot of well-deserved respect for her work in music and Hollywood. Back in 1996, she and the Pips were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. A year before that, she even got her own star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Thank you.
We thank you so very much. You know, the old cliche, this is a dream come true, it's just not adequate to express what it's really like tonight. People have been asking me for the last 2 weeks since we found out about it. Somebody called me on the telephone and congratulated me. That's how I found out about it.
In 2007, she received the Society of Singers Ella Award and was crowned the Empress of Soul. She also made Rolling Stone's list of the greatest singers of all time. In 2021, she was honored with the National Medal of Arts. Then came even more big moments: a Kennedy Center honor in 2022 and the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award in 2023. She might be slowing down a bit now, but honestly, her influence and legacy are still untouchable.